Hi everybody, this is Jenny Fields, your Martin County property appraiser. Hi, happy Friday. So we're trying something new. As you may or may not know, we released a press release today that was for all the Martin County values, and we had some questions come in, and I thought, hey, maybe y'all want to know the answers to these questions as well. So I thought, let's do something new, and we're going to try this Facebook Live, and I'm going to kind of go over some of the highlights of the press release that went out from our office today. But before I do that, a couple things. You're more than welcome to put in questions, comments, and I'd be happy to answer them as we go. Just put it right in there, and I think I'm going to be able to see them. So like I said, this is my first one, so bear with me. And all right, so give you some background. Who are we? Who is the property appraiser? So we are one of 5 constitutional offices. Our primary responsibility as the property appraiser is to value Martin. We value real property and we value tangible personal property. So why do we do that? Well, we do that because in Martin County, there's 10 taxing authorities, which make up a few, they're all the municipalities, such as your City of Stuart, Town of Jupiter Island, Village of Indiantown, and so forth. Then you have your school board, your Board of County Commissioners, Children's Services, South Florida Water Management, and so forth. So all 10 of those taxing authorities have budgets. It helps them operate their jurisdiction, whether they're repairing sidewalks or paying police officers. They have budgets that they need to operate their jurisdictions. And the primary source of those budgets is through property tax. So how does property tax come about? Well, property taxes are made up of 2 parts: value times tax rate. The property appraiser, that's my office, we are the first part of that. We don't make up the tax rates. We don't make up the, which are also known as millage rates. Our part is to set the value. We do that by studying the market. What's happening? What's happening in Martin County? What's happening with the sale prices? One thing to note is that we are required to value property as of January 1, which means everything you see happening today is not going to be looked at until next year. So to set the 2025 values, we look at the 2024 market. So we've looked at all the market, we've seen what the sale prices are, and then we come up with what is the true market value for that. In other words, what is this property worth? We set that value, and then we report that value to all 10 taxing authorities. So the way the timeline works is all throughout the first quarter of this year, we've been studying that 24 market. By law, the very first certification goes to the Florida Department of Revenue on July 1. But on June 1st, which is what just is happening right now, is we basically give an estimate. It's like a sneak peek to all 10 of those taxing authorities, and we say this is what the proposed 2025 values are going to be, and that lets all the taxing authorities know how much, basically, what is the proposed revenue that they can expect this year based on the value of the property. That they can take that tax base now and they can go look at their budgets, and now that will help them establish the tax rate, which was part 2 of that formula. So that's what we did. So we sent out a press release today. We sent out all the taxable values. So I was just going to kind of go over the highlights of the press release. Here it is. So the first thing is, so everyone wants to know what happened in Martin County. So the Martin County taxable value did increase 12.68% to a total of $39.2 billion. The market value increased by 8.36%. So your number one question might be, well, how did the market value, which is supposed to be what the property is worth, go up just over 8%, but the taxable value went up almost 13%? Well, 2 things. So the first thing is, and these are the 2 big key parts to why the values went up this year in Martin County. The first one is what's known as the recapture rule. And basically what that means is when you have, and I'll take homesteaded property. So let's say you have homesteaded property, and from the year you file for homestead exemption, that point forward, whatever value the property appraiser said that property was worth, the year you filed for homestead, from that point forward, no matter what happens to the market, your assessed value, which is basically what you're taxed from, that cannot go up any more than 3% per year. Okay, so what happens over time is your market value is going to fluctuate with what we say your property is worth. So the same property 5 years ago that might have been worth $400,000 on the market is now worth $700,000 on the market, even without any changes, just from appreciation, right? But because they filed for homestead 5 years ago, that assessed value was only going up no more than 3% a year. So their assessed value might only be $440,000, even though their market value is $700,000, right? So there's a gap. Okay, that gap in there, which is the difference between your market and your assessed, is a Save Our Homes benefit. Well, the recapture rule, what happens is, so if the market levels off, let's say they flatten out, and in the next year, the market value stays the same at $700,000. Most people would say, well, hey, my taxes are going to stay the same, or maybe in a year where market value goes down, maybe next year the market values go down to $650,000. Until the $440,000 assessed value goes up, it's going to go up the full 3% until it meets market value, okay? Or until market value comes down. But until they meet, assessed values are required by law to go up the full 3% until it meets market. So in a year or in years where the market is leveling off or even going down, taxing authorities can still benefit from the recapture rule, because those caps are going to still continue to go up until they meet where the market values were. So that's number one. So when you see an almost 13% increase, it's because for the last 5 years, the market has seen double-digit increases in appreciation just because people were flooding to Florida. It was driving values up. So the market values right now are really, they were much higher than they were in the last 5 years ago. So a lot of people are sitting on large caps. And even though the market is cooling off, which it is, you know, if you look at the market values, the prices are still there. There's just not as many as there has been in prior years. So in a year where they, you know, the market values weren't seeing double digits, taxable values are still seeing that full 3%. And even all non-homesteaded properties, they may not be capped at 3%, but they're still capped at 10%. So even if their value didn't change at all this year, their assessed value is still going to go up that full 10% because of the recapture rule. And the other major contributor this year to the almost 13% increase in taxable value was due to a subdivision located down on Bridge Road called Discovery or Atlantic Fields. It actually went on the roll. Now, what I mean by that, what do you mean it went on the roll? So in basic terms, you kind of have, when developments aren't developments yet, they're just one parcel of land that was 1,500 acres, let's say. When a developer takes that land and subdivides it, then sales occur on those lots. Well, last year, there were over 70 sales in Discovery. And our job, again, just as I said before, is we have to look at the market. What is happening in that market? Well, the median sale price for those lots in Atlantic Fields was $6 million. Our job by law is to value property at 100% of market. So when you have 300 lots and the median sale price is $6 million, as you can imagine, that's what happens. They're valued more than it was a raw piece of land at 1,500 acres. So that's what happened with Atlantic Fields. And it was approximately 1.6 billion value that was added to the tax roll this year. So those are the two major contributors this year. We also, if you want to look at this press release, you can see it's a 2-page document, and it's available on the website. It's available on our Facebook page. and then there's what happened all across the county. But to just give you a couple of other highlights, industrial property showed another year of strength. There was more than just over 17% increase in industrial. That was the new construction in the industrial market alone was 88.6 million in new construction, and that was as a result of 27 new industrial buildings that went on the roll, and that was over 818,000 square feet of industrial space. Residential properties, just residential, went up over 8.5% in market value. And that was for single family homes, mobile home, condos, etc. There was just the new construction for residential was 497 million. And if you just look at the residential houses that went on the roll this year, they had a median or an average value of new construction in Martin County of 768,000 for single family homes this year. And then we had two new multifamily, which are your apartment complexes, the Mason at Stewart, and then Tradewinds at Hobe Sound. Now, 4 of the buildings of Mason actually went on the tax roll last year, so the remaining 3 buildings went on this year, which were 150 units, and then Tradewinds at Hobe Sound was 177 units. But together, just those 2 apartment complexes was $46.2 million. So again, that's just a snapshot of what happened in Martin County based on looking at the 2024 market. So again, if you have any questions, we always encourage you, please reach out to me. You can contact me, call the office, say, I want to talk to Jenny. We have live chat. We also have, you can email me, info@pa.martin.fl.us, and ask your questions. We are just happy to meet with anyone, anytime. And again, if you check out the press release and you have any questions, please let us know. We're hoping to do more of these Facebook Lives in the future, maybe even weekly, and kind of just give you a peek into what we do here and how we can help you, resources that are available on the website. So again, thanks for watching, and happy Friday, and I hope to see you next week. Thank you.